My brothers and sisters in Christ, in today's gospel, we hear this parable of the talents, of what was entrusted to each servant, what they did with it, their accounting before the Lord. And something that's important in this is you'll notice that the Lord isn't measuring them against their total return between servants. He's asking for the return on what they were asked to do. In a sense, the servants' starting positions were different. Some of them had different things at their disposal. And so he doesn't compare their outcomes. Each one is judged upon what they did with what they had entrusted to them. And in this way, it's often tempting in the spiritual life to pay attention to the big things while neglecting the small things, or said differently, to look for the ways which can seem impossible to attain, the great works of holiness, the great disciplines, and to ignore our ability to do the small things well. Or said differently again, how to just be faithful in everyday life. And in that sense, the first reading is a very simple and yet deep reflection. As Paul speaks at the end of the first reading, as we hear today, three different things: of tranquility, of minding our own affairs, and of working with our hands. This is a very basic roadmap to basic Christian discipleship, which is working backwards to work with our hands. Each of us is entrusted our labors, whatever form they may take. We're put forth here to work. On Monday, we'll celebrate Labor Day. We'll explore the dignity of human labor, not just as a means for us to co-create with God, but to build up the earth, to subdue the earth, to contribute towards the common good. Work is not just something that has to be done. It is something that actually is contributing to our own human dignity. And so, the work to mind our labors that have been entrusted to us, then to mind our own affairs, in a sense not to be a busybody, but to take care of our own business. Not to waste all of our time watching what everyone else is doing, complaining what everyone is not doing, but to mind our affairs. And then third, to be an agent of tranquility, or said differently, to be an agent of Christian peace. In a world that is constantly stirred up, that is provoked at every turn to anger, and there are those that exploit that and seek to profit off of the divisions that anger always brings. But there is unrest, there is anger, there is conflict, all these things in the world, and at times those are things we have to deal with. But to not look to be agitators, but agents of peace. The peace which the love of Christ brings, the communion he seeks to bring about in us. And so, we can be faithful in our Christian living just by doing that which we've been called to do, to focus on that, as opposed to meddling in the affairs of others, and to be agents of peace of those around us. Before even considering anything that we would consider big picture, that is a roadmap of just daily living, of a way that we can be faithful with that which God has entrusted to us. And so indeed, no matter how many talents the Lord has entrusted each of us with, and we need not compare, each of us has received a starter pack, if you will. Each of us, our own resources provided to us, our own gifts and talents, our own opportunities. And to each of us, the Lord gives a calling to go forth and bear fruit. And he will ask us for an accounting. And so, may we be found faithful when the time of that accounting comes, that we have been fruitful in matters great and small. May God bless you.